Today I walk through the grocery store, like a normal person, looking at all the other normal people. They call me an executioner, but that is only my job. It does not define me. Contrary to what most think, I don't enjoy what I do. In this new world, it's something that must be done. Someone must do it. Someone must carry the burden of ending lives for the greater good, but most don't understand. All they know is I am the one that took their parent, their sibling, their grandparent. Why would they ever thank me for that? Thanks for making the world a safer place. They should say. But all they say is murderer, executioner. All I can do is my job, and walk away. I cannot be the one to console them, or tell them it will be alright. To those watching, I'm sure I seem cold, but it must be this way. This is the only way. I must be able to push the emotion down so it never comes out, so that I do not fail. One hesitation could be deadly, one failure could mean hundreds of lives lost. And so I push them down for the greater good. I am probably time bomb of emotion, but today, I am normal. I am not the executioner. These last few months have made me think it might all be worth it. Like it might be worth the loneliness. I've been needed less lately, which means less death, less crying and pleading. The last 2 years has been nothing but moving around all the time. I had to be ready at any moment to take a life. Sometimes there was 2 in one day. But today I am free, my first day free from the phone and toolbox of death since I can remember. Today I can buy groceries like a normal person, I can squeeze the tomatoes, I can check the date on the milk. I can open the egg carton to see if one is cracked. I can do all these things that others take for granted. Until today, moving around all the time meant food on the run. Restaurants, not grocery stores. So as I walk through the aisles, filling my cart, I can't help but crack a smile. A genuine smile, knowing my suffering has brought me here. Knowing all the others around me take those things for granted because I do what needs to be done. I smile because I think it might all work out. Which is why, when the commotion starts, I ignore it. Commotions happen all the time. It doesn't mean I am needed. I hear a woman call out for a doctor. I am not a doctor, I think as I read the gravy mix. Reduced salt or regular. Reduced salt is probably better, I can always add salt, I can't take it away. I hear a man telling everyone to back up as I grab a box of stuffing and read the label. Not as good as homemade, but better than anything I've had for years. I hear the man say he must make the call, and the woman's pleading. No. No. You can save him, you can save him. I step away from my cart, letting my head fall into my hands, and I rub my face. My eyes closed, I curse under my breath. I curse this awful world, I curse the person I have become. Most of all, I curse the people who chose this time and place to fall ill. Why now? Why me? I walk towards the front and approach the crowd of people, then I gently push my way through to the scene. A young man on his knees leans over another older man. A turned-over shopping basket has strewn its contents. Carrots, potatoes, and apples sit loose on the floor. A milk jug sits open, its contents forming a puddle around it, extending under the fallen man. All things that will no longer be eaten, no longer be enjoyed at a table full of happy people. The leaning young man looks up at me as I approach. He knows why I'm here. He can see it in my face. Even walking up to the crowd, I still thought maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't be needed today. A slow shake of the head from the young man would remove my doubts. I take a deep breath and speak loudly. I am a licensed outbreak containment officer. By powers granted to me by the state and the CDC, I am here to ensure the neutralization of infection. The robotic speech itself is cold. The word neutralize is even colder. My delivery makes it ice. I've said it so many times now, I can't even add inflection. The women started pleading again and grabbed me by the shirt. We don't know, there is still time, the ambulance is coming. The young man stood up and touched her arm. It's been 2 minutes already, it's too late. I turn towards her and whisper. I will wait as long as I can, but you can't be near him. If you want to be close, do it now. I turn back to the crowd, scanning for an employee. You. I point to a young woman wearing a green apron. What's your name? Katie, I'm off duty, so I have nothing with me. Are you able to find me something to do this with? She stands there for a couple seconds, and I question if she understands. I'm about to ask her when she turns and walks back through the crowd. I wait until she disappears behind the crowd before I turn back to the man on the floor. There is no blood, no signs of distress. Probably a heart attack. One of the better deaths a person could ask for, a normal person that is. This type of death makes it so much harder for me, because there is always blood when I'm done. Blood that wasn't there before I came. The blood makes it real, and even though the person was dead before, the blood makes me the villain, makes me the executioner. I drop to my knees above the man's head and move my fingers toward his neck. Not that I don't trust the young man, I just need to know for myself. A big part of me hopes it's a mistake, or there will be a miracle, and he'll feel a pulse. I look the man up and down as I wait. He wears a collared shirt under a green sweater. Just a casual day at the grocery store, but still dressed nice. I always appreciated that about his generation, always dressing like it was the last thing you would be wearing. Today, that would be true for this man. Just like every other time I have checked, there is nothing. No pulse, no life. It's time for everyone to step back, I say loudly but directed to the woman on her knees with me. I give her a few more seconds before speaking again. I'm sorry, madam, that means you too. She kisses the man's hand and pushes herself up. She surprises me, backing away. I thought there would be resistance, but there is acceptance. She has a rare strength that most people don't have. It's time for Katie to come back. The waiting is not only dangerous, but uncomfortable. Things will go badly if he turns before she is back. It's a good thing. Anxiety is easy to bury. To anyone looking at me, which I'm sure many are, I'm calm and focused. Thinking about it now, this is probably the reason people think what they do about me. I show no signs of upset, no signs of stress. I am looking down, but I feel everyone looking at me. I feel them judging, waiting. I really need Katie to come back, because on the inside, I am not calm. Excuse me, I hear from my right. I turn to see Katie pushing through the growing crowd. Funny how no one can do what needs to be done, but they can watch it. Her eyes move to the man as she approaches slowly. Let's go, Katie, I say, reaching my hand towards her. She reaches me and pulls a knife out of her apron. Sorry, it took me a bit to find one the right size. I take the large knife from her shaking hand. She turns it so I can grab the handle. It's a basic black-handled knife with a 6-inch blade, probably for cutting vegetables. It wouldn't be my first choice, but nothing seems to be up to me today. I look back at the man, whose eyes have already started turning yellow. Not much longer now. I move the knife down with my right hand and cradle the head with my left, the point of the blade resting against his temple, ready to go in. I close my eyes and prepare myself. I've never really killed anyone, but it still feels like I'm about to. It feels like that every time. It's always in this moment that it truly feels like I'm taking a life, like I'm taking someone's grandpa. Even though the world has already taken him, it will be me his wife remembers as his dispatcher, his executioner. The worst part is that I will always feel the same as her. I will always feel like I was the one that took him. I feel the growl before I hear it, the low guttural sound. The man's fingers twitch as his head turns back towards me. I waited too long, wallowing in my pity while everyone waited. This is the worst time to do this, the calm before the storm. This is where things always went wrong in the beginning. You could look into your loved one's eyes as they came back to life. You could see confusion and desperation, at least for a few seconds. Then you learned the truth. This was not the person you knew, this was something else, and it just bit you and sealed your fate. The man looks up at me with desperate yellow eyes, his arm reaching toward my face. I pull the knife back and drive it hard into the temple, feeling the familiar crunch and pressure. The man's eyes go wide as another small growl comes out and fades to silence. There is an artery behind the temple. The blood comes out fast, forming a river toward the lake of milk. The man's wife had been stoic until this moment, maybe still in the denial stage. But now the sobs begin. Although my job is now complete, I like to wait for the medics. It seems to make everyone feel safer. But in this moment all I want to do is finish my shopping and go home. I can do the paperwork tomorrow. Grandpa. The voice of a child breaks through the chatter. I look up towards the source and see a small girl standing next to the man's wife. The woman holds her by the shoulders. She wears a little pink coat and pink boots. She stares at the body in front of me, frozen. A child shouldn't see this, shouldn't see someone she knows and loves like this. Why are they letting her see this? I can't even take the knife out. It has to stay there. It has to stay so the medics know there isn't a threat. She just keeps looking. Why is she still looking? Her eyes turn to me, still crouching over her grandfather. The look in her eyes is haunting. I can't be here. I feel myself breaking. I feel the emotion coming through. I slowly push myself up and turn away. The crowd is dispersing, but I still have to push my way through a few people. I feel like someone may have said something to me, but I can't hear it. I have to keep moving. I keep my head down and walk out the door. My fists clench as I try to take deep breaths. I move faster as I move through the parking lot, pulling out my keys and unlocking as I walk. My nails dig into palms, and my bottom lip is trembling as I open the back door and get into the back seat. The door isn't even closed before they come. The tears pour out like a torrential rain. My whole body shakes as I try to stifle the moans coming uncontrollably. How could anyone thank me for that? How could anyone think about the people I helped when all they see is the empty chair at Thanksgiving dinner? When their last memory of their grandpa is of me, leaning over him with a knife in his head. I've always told myself I haven't killed anyone, they were already dead. But even as the living dead, I have still ended the lives of 357 living things. Living things that, minutes ago, were grandparents, parents, children. The children were always the hardest. My moans start up again, more tears pour down my face. I do it for you. I yell out loud. I do it to keep you safe, and you hate me for it. The face of the girl in the pink coat comes back to me. Her face, frozen in horror. To her, I am the executioner. To all the people around when I pushed the metal through their loved one's head, that's all I could be. This weekend, a little girl and her family will sit at Thanksgiving dinner, and they will not be thankful for me. They will call me the executioner. Maybe that's what I am. I don't know anymore.